Yes, people, how we doing? Hope you're all well. Welcome back to the show. As ever, I'm your host, Dan Potts. I'm with lead judges, and from the Highbury squad, we have Sophie Nicolau. Tonight, the Premier League is back. The weekend has been a good one. It was only a week ago that Crystal Palace were going to destroy Arsenal, that Haaland and Nunez were going to flop, and that Ten Hag has completely transformed Manchester United. What a difference a week makes. Lead judges, how we doing, mate?
Fantastic. Had a great weekend. Started off on a good Friday, and it's been not a bad weekend. Like not gonna lie, sun shining. Man United are in the mud, which I predicted. Fantastic. It's been not a bad weekend. I can't lie.
It's been lovely. Sophie, how are you, darling?
I'm very well, thanks. Although Arsenal playing on Friday put me way off my weekend. I was making plans with people thinking it was Saturday and Sunday was Monday. It was a mess, a hot mess, but fantastic weekend. A great start.
It really was, man. It really was. And I know that, that lot up the road looked good and they scored and all that, and people will go, oh, it's not the perfect weekend. But having looked at the other clubs around us, a few surprises, a few shocks, and of course, it didn't really matter because us three could sit there and enjoy it because of what happened on Friday night, which is what we're going to touch on in a bit. But I just want to get your kind of thoughts of, start with you, Sophie, this weekend's roundup. Manchester United today, Manchester City with Haaland today, Chelsea yesterday struggling but got the 3 points. Tottenham looked really good under Conte. And then some shocks. Bournemouth, Fulham turning up, to teams that we all tipped to go down, decided to turn up on the first week of the season. So what did you make of it, Soph?
Football makes fools of all of us sometimes, doesn't it? It's really quite unbelievable. Everyone had Fulham and Bournemouth going down. And look, we've seen Norwich get off to an amazing start a couple of seasons ago when Pookie was scoring, on their first game, and they ended up getting relegated. So one of the things I've learned, my own lessons, especially from last season, is to be a bit more measured. Just, let it marinate. Life is not a shot of vodka, it's a glass of wine. And there's a long way to go. I mean, on Friday night, I was thinking, who needs 37 more games? Let's just call it quits right now. Seeing Arsenal at that top of the table is really just beautifully refreshing, isn't it? Haaland was tipped to be a flop by some, and he scored 2 on his debut. My goodness. Talk about deserving more credit for the runs that he makes. He's going to be quite fun to watch. City picking up where they left off. Liverpool struggling. That lot down the road did well, but let's be honest, Southampton, if we had beaten them 4-1, most people would be saying, oh, but, they're going to be in a relegation fight this season. Southampton are in trouble. So I'm just trying to hold my tongue when it comes to other teams, but definitely rave about the Arsenal and kind of what we did day one. Everyone wanted us to fail miserably, which is why we were put on live on Friday night. And you know what? Under the Friday night lights this time, we got the result.
100%. Great way to end it. Judges, just your quick thoughts on this weekend. I think the main thing is obviously Man United today. I must say, Brighton, full credit to Brighton because they played really well. And my God, how the referee has not given a red card, how the VAR did not give a penalty on Welbeck, beyond me. But if I'm honest with you, that was probably one of the shocks. And Bournemouth, I didn't expect to be beaten. Who did they beat? Villa. So some shocks in a way. Fulham as well. Liverpool, didn't expect them to be as great as they were. They come off out fighting. I thought they were really intense. So there has been some good games this weekend, Lee.
Yeah, it just shows that first game back, pre-season, all that, we can go on back result. I thought Liverpool looked really, really good last week, and I was thinking maybe they can be title contenders. I've changed my mind after 1 week after watching Manchester City the spot today. They were awesome. Listen, they're a side that's got let go Sterling, Jesus, and Shinchenko, and they still look very, very strong, which is Haaland up front. I got to say, I was so impressed with him today. These runs and everything, that was unbelievable. Class. I thought Liverpool looked very, very poor. I think Fulham, all credit to them, made them look poor. That was a bit of a shock. And straight away, the two midfield, probably the best two midfield players of the generation of the Premier League, Gerrard and Lampard, look like they're going to struggle big time. I really do. Like Villa are on a bit of a downward run, really, since we played them back whenever it was in March, April time. They've gone right off the rails, comfortably beaten by Bournemouth. And, listen, I think what it shows you is, and, you can take what you want from it. If you're not on it, you will get beaten. And people are going, oh, we've got Fulham and Bournemouth coming up. Yeah, we have. And Leicester. If we're not right on it and on our game, we will get punished. So they're difficult games. So don't take anybody in the Premiership lightly. I think there were some good performances. Look, I had Southampton down to get relegated this season. I said it on Sophie's show on the hybrid squad. I said that they would. I didn't really think that then. When someone asked me to score, I said Tottenham win that 4-0. 4-1 it was. But what I've seen is also myself included, sort of slightly writing Chelsea off, went and got the job done at Everton. I don't care if it's not a great performance or whatever. Clean sheet away from home, 1-0, 2-0. I'll take them all day long. And that's why I'm more than happy with what we done at Selhurst Park. A clean sheet, played well at times, didn't play well at times, had to dig in, got the result, and a clean sheet. And whatever way you look at it, the best teams keep clean sheets. I'll tell you that now. Like, the team that wins the league will keep the most clean sheets. So, Manchester City today, go to West Ham, 2-0, job done. But we've done a job. So pleased that we didn't foul on Friday for many reasons. For that sky, everything like that. That was my biggest thing. They were there for one reason. It weren't to watch Jesus' debut. Let's get that right, And I say this now. I've watched Jesus in pre-season. He played really well, by the way, on Friday night. But he was quiet compared to what he has been in pre-season. So when he gets his mojo right, we're in for a treat. I'll tell you that. I think he's one of the only ones that didn't score when the only big sign that didn't score at the weekend. Don't care. I've seen plenty enough to know that he's going to be a success at Arsenal.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend, Soph, and I think it's one that we can happily go into. Looking forward to week 2. I totally agree with what Lee says. I've not been convinced by Gerrard or Lampard, and I think it's a race for which one gets sacked first. If I'm honest, they've got to do a lot to convince me that they're only half decent at management, if I'm honest. And I think there's a few surprises, as I say. Liverpool, it didn't surprise me as such because Fulham are a team that are going to go all out. But I was surprised seeing them in the Community Shield. It looked a completely different side to me. So there was some shocks there. But for Arsenal, it was a very good one. And I was with you. I've had a bit of a weird weekend because Friday night was my Saturday night. So a bit different. But in a way, I enjoyed it because I could relax today and yesterday. Because it didn't really matter to me. I just thought, everything's a bonus. If someone loses, someone loses. But looking at our performance and how important it was, I want to touch on something Lee's said because it's something that a few people have said. I said it. Lee said it after the game. When those Premier League fixtures come out and Arsenal got drawn against Crystal Palace away, everybody, whether you're a football fan or not, said Crystal Palace beat Arsenal 3-0 last time. Let's put that one on TV. I don't care what anybody says. There is nobody that can tell me that Arsenal or Crystal Palace did anything last season to deserve to kick off the Premier League season of 2022. Palace had a very good season, nothing to shout home about other than a semi-final of the FA Cup. And Arsenal had a shambles at the end. So there's no way that either of those sides deserved, in my opinion, to kick off the season. So there's only one reason why they were put on together on a Friday night under the lights. And I was nervous going into it, quietly confident, but quietly also nervous, thinking, please don't. Because if we do balls this up, we will not hear the end of it. And as someone who has my doubts still that we're going to be on this progress in the process, I was really, really pleased that we delivered because I thought that in the first half, Arsenal were really, really good. First 25 minutes, this is the best debut I've seen in a long time from Gabriel Jesus. Just everything he did looked fantastic and silky. Some real good players on show. William Saliba, of course, unbelievable. And we're going to talk a little bit about him. But just wanted to get your thoughts, Soph, on how important that win is because of Arsenal being on Friday night against Palace. Hard place to go. And we picked the 3 points up, and it's chalk and cheese from last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and there's no doubt that there was an agenda about putting Arsenal on Friday night, and people were looking forward to getting that dartboard out and sharpening those darts, Lee and Dan, even sharper than last season. I think they were expecting us to, start with a really bad result. And you know what it proves? Arsenal are box office. Whichever way you look at it, people
Mm.
just cannot stop, going at our club, watching our club. I think we've proved in the summer and on the US tours that, when it comes to the biggest clubs in England, it's Liverpool, it's Manchester United, and then it's us. Manchester City are, of course, doing much bigger things than us in the Premier League, but they're not a bigger club than us. Chelsea have done great big things and won lots of trophies, but they're still not as big a club as us. And I'm talking about that from a fan perspective, from an equity perspective. Arsenal Football Club is still way up there. It was so important for us to start off with a positive win. I was going to be happy to walk away with the draw when we did our predictions show that you guys were on. I called it a draw. I wanted a 3-1 win, but I was happy to walk away with a point. I thought that one of the things that my observation was, guys, Lee brought up Jesus not scoring. The difference is, even though he's not scoring, what he provided and what he did for the team is gargantuan, because it's what Arteta's been wanting. He wanted Aubameyang to be that guy, and when Aubameyang wasn't scoring goals, he couldn't offer the team anything else. He wanted Lacazette to be that guy, and for a little bit in the December of last year, when we went on that run before our poor January, Lacazette stepped in as a captain and was that guy. But consistently, they just couldn't do it. Now, what you're seeing is a front three that work together in tandem, that press, but that also track back and support. Saka was not as effective going forward, but my goodness, the support that he gave Ben White going back was beyond impressive. Some people would say, well, he didn't have a great game. He had a superb game in the sense of what he did from a discipline point of view. I was on Sky Sports, and the Palace fan that I was on with said, oh, I look forward to, if you're picking Ben White at right back, I can't wait to see Zaha skin him. Well, everybody was waiting for that narrative, weren't they? And it didn't happen. Credit to Ben White, who's been under fire, who's been a little bit disrespected even by our own fans, stepping in and doing an incredible job marking Zaha. He had really good support from the back too, but also Gabriel and Saliba had support. It was like we were so prepared and we worked as a unit in every facet of the game. And, yes, in the second half, we were under the cosh, Dan and Lee, but we didn't concede and we stuck together. And maybe the old Arsenal would have crumbled and would have conceded. But the point is that when you win a game like that and you are under the cosh like that and you walk away with a win, you've got to give the team credit. And I've been very critical of Mikel Arteta, and rightly so, finishing eighth and getting us kicked out of the Europa League semi-final by the man he replaced. But credit where it's due. He had the team ready. They were prepared. We went into that game knowing, and every single player understanding what their job was. And if they just do their jobs every single game, I think we can have a good season. But what's worrying is, we're not going to talk about that so much right now with this question, but beyond that 11, I'm still concerned about who comes in to replace those
100%.
players.
Yeah.
100%. Listen,
I think that's
I
the
said
toughest
that.
task for us, Dan.
I said that to Lee because we were standing next to each other. I said, look at that bench. It's just
we did
embarrassing,
say that.
wasn't it? It was just embarrassing.
But
But
it was good
sticking
that
to
we
the
could
positive.
bring on Tierney, Dan, right?
Mm.
For, Zinchenko goes off, Tierney comes on. Now you need that in every position.
Every department.
100%, 100%, Sophie. And that's the difference is we are in the past and now sometimes this season going to see situations that aren't like that. When Jesus comes off, Eddie comes on, there's definitely a downgrade. When Partey comes off, Lokonga comes on, it's a downgrade. And there's a few positions like that. And that's going to happen. You're not going to have 22 world-class players. I don't think anybody's expecting or asking for that. But what we want is Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko and Ben White and Saliba in every position. And that, for me, is a massive positive of where I think we're trying to get to. But, Lee, I want to get your thoughts on the game because, for me, 25 minutes of pure class from some individuals and it was all Arsenal. And then towards the Latter part of the first half, a little bit under pressure. Ramsdale makes a great save. Go into the second half, Patrick Vieira changes his tactics up, and we're knocking on the door and can't get through him. And then it gets quite nervy. We're begging and begging Arteta to change, saying, please bring some subs on. He does, and then we go and get the second. Now, I'm not saying the subs changed that and made us score that goal, but what I'm getting at is it was nervy in Partsley, but I felt leaving the game that we kind of dealt with it. And obviously, one of the people who was a massive part of that was William Saliba. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the game, bro.
Yeah, first and foremost is I'll guarantee you now that we won't be on next Friday night opening game season, so we can go wherever we want, and it's guaranteed not to happen now. Like, you know, so that's a good thing. Second thing is, yeah, I'm in a little bit of a position where I've sat back and watched the game. You know, when you're watching the game, you've got all that tension of it all and worried and nerves and all that. But I sat back and watched it when I got in that night, and I look back on it and I think, do you know what? We needed that sort of performance, because there were things in there to improve on. You don't just go there, smash them, and then like everybody goes, yeah, it's all hunky dory and everything like that. I think there was a few problems in there and a little few things that they can go, right, do you know what? We need to work on this and work on that to keep everybody, you know, feet firmly on the ground. And I think that that's an important part. There was that 20, 30 minutes, 20, 25 minutes in the second half where we needed to bring on a midfield player. Now, I get what everybody's saying about, look, we've got Vieira to come back, we've got Smith Rowe, we've got Tomiyasu. But what I see was our midfield slightly getting overrun, because at the end of the day, they put a hell of a lot of work into it. And there was a reluctance to bring anybody on, Why? Because there is such a downgrade. Now, when you look at the Jesus and Eddie one, you know, you're quite correct, Dan. Of course, it's a downgrade. But a fresh Eddie coming on after 70 minutes when they've been run ragged by Jesus, their central defenders, that's a good thing, because that's what happens. He makes a run. They can't quite go with him. He gets the ball out to Saka and we score. So I think that'd be good for Eddie coming on in those big games, last 20 minutes, fresh, running with his power and everything like that against a tiring defence. So I quite like that idea. But that midfield was really... He actually changed it, didn't he? Like in the 87th or 88th minute for bringing on Lokonga. Got away with it. There are times when, you know, and let's be honest, let's be really honest about it. Palace had a couple of good chances, probably like a top team may take. And then we end up losing that game. And then you look back on it and go, oh, we played well here and we've done this here. Yes, we did. But ultimately, because we haven't got the personnel in certain areas, that we struggled. So I think that was a big highlight for me, and hopefully the board will look at that and go, do you know what? With another couple of players, we could probably go back and win that game. Now, Smith Rowe comes in that game, he keeps the ball, he runs with it. We haven't got no one in that team that gets the ball and can run 20, 30 yards. Now, I don't know if Vieira can do that. I'm not seen him play. I know Smith Rowe can do it, but let's get it right about Smith Rowe in a minute. Has not played enough pre-season to come on in a game like that. So I don't know how they're going to get him up and running, but they need to get him up and running quickly. Tomiyasu, again, played in the under-23s the night before, so he's on his way back. That's good news. Gonna say it, Ben White. We're gonna do a thing in a minute. We've pick your best three players of the night, and you know, Ben White was in there for me. I thought he was brilliant. Yeah, he made one mistake when he ran the ball out from left back, and we nearly got caught because he'd left his position. Other than that, I thought he played really, really well. And do you know what people say? And quite correctly, you know, Saka worked for him and covered him up, and Saliba. Can I just say, it's not an individual game of defending; it's a team game. That is what good teams do. They back each other, they cover each other. That is what you do. They're a unit. There are times when you're going to get caught out. I'm going to tell you, as good as Saliba was, he will get caught out every now and then. Like, it's up to Ramsdale to help him out, or Gabriel. That is football. So when people go, oh well, Ben Wright, you know, had Saliba protected him and he had Saka protected him. I didn't see Saka protecting him for the second goal. He's well up on the halfway. He's not standing on his toes protecting him. Let's get this right. There were times when he had to defend properly for Saka to come back and defend for him. So I'm getting a little bit fed up with the Ben White hate. I don't get it. And also the Xhaka hate as well. I'm going to have to say that I thought he was superb. Yes, on Friday, I thought we played really, really well. And I've got people next to me, not Dan, on the other side, saying, "Oh, he ain't doing nothing. He's this and that." Just go and have a look at our second goal. It starts with him. So I do think, and I get why there's hate on Xhaka. I do. But, look, when they're playing well, they're playing well. Partey, by the way, fitness levels dropped dramatically in that game. But not having a go at him for that, he worked his absolute socks off. You know what I mean? But, it's probably going to take him another 2 games to get up to be able to do that for 90 minutes. He's done it for 70 minutes. Xhaka done it for 90. But no one criticises Partey. Partey, will get a free ride on everything like it, where it will be Xhaka. I thought both of them dominated that midfield and played really, really well. And I will say this, and again with the Uligard thing, just finally, Dan, he didn't have one of his better games. Me and you said that on the day. Like, that's not a criticism. People are going on about that. Like, so what? Every single player, when you play a game of 11 players, not all your players are going to play well. A bit like, everybody's going mad about Manchester City's performance today. I didn't think Grealish played that well today, and probably another couple of others. You're not going to get all 11 players playing to their maximum. But what you need is, if you're not playing to your maximum, is to work rate. And his work rate on that game was up there with the best of them. So, yes, he didn't play well, but he worked for the team. So, at the end of it, that's it. Move on. He'll probably do better in the next game, So that's how I see it.
He's got
Fair, I think fair comment
as well.
To be honest, I think fair comments from most of the players and fair comments from your thoughts on the game. And so, if I want to talk positively, because I will come to some negatives in a bit, because there were some. I want to talk positively though, and stay with the guy of the night for me, which was William Saliba. I don't care whether it's a stroke of genius from Mikel Arteta. I don't care whether Saliba was ready and it makes Arteta look stupid now. Let's just concentrate on how good this kid was. Absolutely immense. And the reason I loved it so, it wasn't just because he had a great performance, but he stood up in one of the best kind of scenarios, so to speak, against a team that have physical attributes, a team that kick you, a team that are going to go in hard because their manager knows exactly what he wants to be doing against us, which is try and beat us up basically and go in hard on us. Not that I have anything against that, but I compare his debut to Ben White's against Brentford, and it's chalk and cheese. Now, that's not me caning Ben White, because I do like Ben White. But what I'm getting at is there's a stature of a defender there, and I believe there's something missing in Ben White, and I know what it is now. It's him. That kid is not getting out that side. He is an unbelievable player. And I saw him throughout pre-season. I thought, he's pretty good, isn't he? Oh, actually, he's really good. Christ, he's really good. And now I've seen him at Palace, and I think he's bloody brilliant. And I've not done that with Ben White. And everyone goes, oh, you hate Ben White. I don't hate Ben White. I think Ben White's a good defender. I think he's a good player. But he ain't getting in at centre-back. So he's going to have to hope that Tommy Asu's out a bit longer, because he ain't going to get back in this side. No chance. Because Gabriel is better than him, and Saliba is class. And you just have to be, that's football. Sometimes it's competition. And tell Ben White to go fight for his place. I thought he played well, Ben White. I thought he kept Zaha quiet. He was one of the weaker players, if I'm honest, along with Ødegaard. But I didn't think any of them were shocking. I thought Ødegaard in parts was. I thought Ben White was out of position a few times, particularly at one time he was at left back and they nearly scored. I thought, what the hell is he doing over there? But actually, when you look at what Saliba had done, what an unbelievable game he had, Sophie.
And isn't it okay that one's more talented than the other? I guess the comparison, and poor Ben White, the problem with this narrative is that Saliba was on loan. This is year 3 now, and he's back he was at Saint Etienne and then Marseille, right? And when we bought Ben White for 50 million, everyone thought we overpaid, and why are we paying for this guy when we have Saliba? And it's really kind of unfair that Ben White's been tainted with that, because it's not his fault. That's the market value for an English player. I mean, I guess Arsenal fans should be thankful. Man United paid 85 million for Harry Maguire. We paid 50 million for a young player who has versatility and can be part of a squad. And that's what Mikel Arteta has been looking for. Football's not about specialist positions anymore. It's about players who have versatility and can be specialists in a variety of positions. And Ben White can offer that. I would also argue that who's better going forward and bringing the ball out? Is it Tomiyasu or is it Ben White? I think it's Ben White. Defensively, who's better? Tomiyasu. So now, like the left back position with Zinchenko and Tierney, you have Tomiyasu and Ben White, because clearly, based on what we've seen so far, the centre back partnership should be Saliba and Gabriel. Gabriel's not immune to criticism either. There's times where his mind wanders in a game and he could be a little lackluster mentally. But the two of them together are going to be that core. And, I'm not comparing guys, but I'm giving you examples. We haven't had a tandem partnership at centre backs in years that we can
Mm.
rave about. They remind me a little bit of Vidic and Ferdinand. Gabriel's the bruiser in Vidic. And I said 2.5 weeks ago on our show that Saliba reminded me of a young Rio Ferdinand from the Leeds days. He's not there yet, but his elegance, his silkiness on the ball, the way his movement works when he has the ball, what he does when he doesn't have the ball as well. He reads the game very, very well and is hugely talented. This was a Crystal Palace team that hadn't lost their last 6 games at home. And also in their 5 games, they hadn't conceded a goal. And they hadn't conceded a goal at home, Dan, since February. And they played Arsenal, Manchester City, and Manchester United. So people need to give Arsenal a little bit more credit for what they did on Friday night at Selhurst Park. So, yes, he's a Rolls Royce in the making, but it's just the first game. And I'd love to see him tested a little bit more. But why can't we be happy that we have options? This is exactly what we've wanted at
Yeah.
Arsenal. We've wanted competition in every position. And I would just like to credit them both for having a really good game, because Ben White did an amazing job in a position that, yes, he can perform, but it's not his natural position. And I think he could play defensive midfield as well. If we run into a pickle in midfield, he's the kind of guy that can be protective in that area and carry the ball out. So, yeah, I think Saliba was amazing and incredible, and what a debut, and he should be in the best 11 of the weekend. No doubt about that.
Yeah, 100%. And you're not allowed to praise one player because you have an anti-agenda against the other player, apparently, when you do that. So very bizarre, very bizarre.
I
I
just
don't know
hope
what
that
Dave's
I
problem
hope
is
this
really,
stops
but
this season.
it's
This is
mad.
getting
It's
ridiculous.
absolutely mad. Just enjoy both players, yeah. Jesus Christ. Lee, William Saliba is a player you've seen for a few weeks
Mm.
now, mate.
Yeah.
You told me, didn't you? You're going to absolutely love Jesus and you're going to absolutely love William Saliba. And you weren't wrong, mate. First 25 minutes, Gabriel Jesus was, I thought, outstanding in parts. But this kid, Saliba, just seems to, for me, just impress me even more. And I'll tell you one thing, Lee. Every single time the ball went towards our goal, I just had some confidence that he was going to be
Yeah.
all right. And I don't know why. I don't know the player. I've only seen him a few times, but I just had that confidence. And I don't have that with many of the Arsenal defence of the last decade, but I do with him. And it's just great to see, mate.
Yeah, and this is what I said. I said to everybody going down there, didn't I? I said, look, what you wait till you see Saliba. Wait till you see him. Straight away, the first thing you see, standing next to Gabriel. He made Gabriel look small. Gabriel's not small. That gives you that. He's got this stature. He's got this presence about him, and that's what I see when I first see him. I was excited. I was lucky, and I kept saying that. Can't wait for you guys to see him. Can't wait for you to see him. Watch him, and he never let me down. He was superb. What I like about him is also is he's got his confidence in his ability. He's got confidence in his pace. He's got confidence that he can play, and I like that. I also what I liked, which I noticed in the game, and I actually watched it back, was there was a few times they left it on him a little bit, like to just test out his mentalities, and discipline. Cool as a cucumber, and that's what I really like. Now, the other thing I don't like, one thing I don't like, why can't we praise Saliba without mentioning Ben White? Let's forget about this. And there's nothing to do about Ben White. It's nothing to do with Gabriel. No one mentions Gabriel. Just, you know what I mean, and pushes it on there. They're just always mentioning Ben White. Saliba is a completely different player. And at the end of it, just enjoy what you've got. This is the first time we've had 3 top-class central defenders since Adams, Keane, and Campbell come in. And when Sol Campbell come in, no one was turning around saying, what's going to happen with Keown and what's going to happen
100%.
with Tony Adams and whatever, Do you know what? They're sorted out. I believe there will be times when Saliba and Ben White will play together. Everybody keeps saying, he's got left side and all that. I've seen players with central defenders, 2 right-footed central defenders playing. Tony
Yep.
Adams was right-footed and played on the left side. I have got no problem with this. It's a fantastic thing to have. And we've got 3 fantastic central defenders now, like, you know. And you want to add a fourth in with that with Holding. Holding, everybody was saying, was a good backup, and he'll get his games in the Europa League. And but that is the difference in quality now. We've got 3 central defenders that are as good as anything in the Premier League on their daylight now, like, you know. And I'm with Sophie on this, like, you know. Ben White done fantastically well the other day at right back, and I see that's where he's going to play him. Listen, what's the biggest compliment Ben White had? And I'll tell you what it was. There's 3 right backs on the books at the moment. One of them's injured. There was 2 right backs that he could have gone with. He could have gone with Cedric and he could have gone with Bellerin. He chose not to. He chose to go with Ben White because he obviously rates him. You know, I didn't see Mikel trying to find a position for Pepe, did he? When it's not quite working on the right, I'll put him down the middle or whatever. Like, you know, when people go, oh, you can't play him down the middle because, you know, no, this is Mikel Arteta's signing. So Ben White will get chances, and it's now up to him whether he takes them. I believe now. You know, I'm sorry, I love Tomiyasu, but he's going to have to be patient and he's not getting. There's no way he's coming into that team on the next game. And I agree with Sophie. I think that one thing I do like about Ben White is he's got, you know, he can drive into the midfield and then pass and things like that. So I think the back four's good. It was solid. It was strong. Do you know what? It was tested on Friday. It was tested. It passed. Clean sheet. Love it, like, you know. And that's what you want. And so but for me, Saliba really just ticks every box. I love the way the ball went down the flank, and he just bounced off the forward and then just played out. Like, you know, when have we seen that? You know what I mean? We've been bullied in places. But I'm with you, Dan. When I first see him, he give me the confidence, and I'll tell you what give me that confidence when I see his physique. Right now, we've all played
Stature,
football and stature. So if you was a centre forward, if I'm a centre forward coming into that game, I'm looking at him and thinking, God, blimey, I ain't going to be able to physically go against him. So I'm going to have to use my pace. Oh my God, he's got as much pace as anybody else. So this is a defender, right, that no one is going to like playing up against. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna. It's been a really interesting one when our Haaland comes up against him. That'd be a good one. That'd be a test for him. I tell you, like, because that boy's got pace and power. Let's see what happens then, like, you know. So I'm not going to go over the ball about it. But listen, we was going down there, Dan, like, you know. Do you remember they said, well, you know, this is his Premiership debut. Do you remember Arsene Wenger used to like to have players playing at their home, big signers playing their debut at home because he's got the comforts of being at home and all that. No comforts for Saliba, away from home at one of the most difficult grounds to go to outside the top 6. You know what I mean? I think Man United, Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Chelsea, they're tough ones. And then I think, you'd argue West Ham and Crystal Palace in the next 2. Everton, not so much nowadays. So that was a good test for him. He passed, and I'm now looking forward to him playing against a different sort of animal against Vardy when he's going to be quick and a little bit around him and all that, and bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. But the one thing I've said about the pre-season, and it's the first time I've gone to a game for a very, very long way, away game, Dan. You know, you've been with me a few times when I said, "Don't worry about it, boys. We're winning this today." I had confidence because I'd seen what I'd seen. That first 20 minutes blew me away. I thought we was fantastic in that first 20 minutes. We struggled a little bit after that, but then the boys Saliba and Ben White, Gabriel, Shinchenko, fantastic song, by the way. Like, you know, I've loved that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whoever made that up, come on, like, it's class. Absolute class. You know what I mean? Like, it's the old Spandau Ballet boys have been tweeting it today and everything like that. So, you know, it was a great, great atmosphere in there. But when you went into the ground, there's always been that little bit of doom and gloom about Arsenal. If you say, "Oh, we might, you know, what team's going to turn up?" You know, Russ is one of the biggest for that. Depends what team turns up. You know what I mean? Everybody won't know we're going for it today. Like, we're going to go and win this game, and we did, and that was fantastic.
Absolutely, it was. I must say, and just on that point about Saliba, now that he's come in and people are starting to say, what does that mean for so-and-so? What does that mean for so-and-so? I don't remember that happening when we signed Reyes. I don't remember it happening when we signed Van Persie and Fabregas come into the mix. When Gilberto got injured, Gilberto got signed. What happens to Edu? We had a squad, and that's what we're trying to build. So let's just be positive about the fact that we've got some strength in depth because we need more of it. Trust me. Sophie, I'm worried about one player, mate. I didn't realise that he's got allergies, but Martin Odegaard is allergic to shooting. Did you know that? He is allergic to shooting. He's not allowed in the team. Very bizarre. Don't quite understand it. You go through one-on-one on your right foot, bang it, it's in. He wants to cut on his left and miss the ball. I just don't understand what this guy's doing. And this super chat sums up how I'm feeling, if I'm honest, from Quick Response. Now, before everyone starts saying I've got an anti-agenda, I don't have an agenda against Odegaard. He's a very good player, technically gifted, but I've always questioned his goals and his assists. And again, he proved correct on Friday night that he does not want to shoot. Odegaard's a typical Wenger player, says Quick Response. A Wenger player from 2007 to 2015, great on the eye, but no killer instinct. That is exactly what I would say Martin Odegaard is. I'm not convinced, he says. Also, thoughts on a plan B striker, which we'll come into in a bit, could be our undoing against the bigger side. Sophie, I want to get your thoughts, not just on Martin Odegaard, the player, because I think everybody knows he's a good player. I can see it. Everyone can see it. Everyone's got a pair of eyes. But I said I wanted James Maddison a couple of seasons ago, and everyone said that Odegaard was a lot better. And I thought, fair enough, let's go and prove it. He scored 18 goals and got 12 assists, James Maddison. Odegaard got 7 goals and 4 assists. Not great. So I'd like to know your thoughts on Martin Odegaard and why he doesn't shoot.
Okay, so we talk about evolution in our squad. You want to talk about Wenger players. Our back line not so long ago was Kolasinac, Mustafi, Socrates, and Bellerin. Okay, compare that to what we have now. We had a disgruntled Ozil. Now we have a player in Odegaard that actually wants to be at Arsenal, and I think he's going to represent the club with absolute class as captain. Remember, he's Haaland's captain in the Norway international team. We cannot be criticizing him and killing him after the first game. Is it true that he needs to pull the trigger? 100%. Does he need to be more selfish? There's no doubt about that. But again, like Lee said earlier, if you're not having a top game, if you're grafting and you're helping the team and doing your job in what the manager wants, when in movement and pressing and tracking back, that is critical. He doesn't want to be the superstar. Sometimes I was reading up on, because when I was doing the Crystal Palace preview, they asked me, Sky asked me if there was one player you would like in your team. I had to pick one. I said Corey, because I think he's a really good midfielder. I think he could end up being a really good play for them. I think he's the type of player that we would love in our squad. I'm not saying he would start every game, but one of the things his old teammate from Lens said, Fofana, was that he works in the shadows. And I said this to Kev on our show the other day. Gabriel, for me, is the type of player that works in the shadows. There's players that do things that aren't obvious to the eye. Everyone wants Odegaard to be this sexy thing. And it doesn't matter if he's not sexy every game. If he's doing his job and he's helping the team, that's what matters. This is a team sport. It's not an individual sport. The biggest criticism for him is that he's got to shoot. And yes, we need to get more goals out of him. But if Martinelli's scoring, if Saka's scoring, if Jesus gets off the mark, if players like that, if we've got Gabriel scoring from set pieces, why do we have to pick on him for stats if he's doing a really good job? I understand he didn't have the best game, but I still thought he operated in a way that helped the team. And I love having players who work in the shadows. And for me, Martin is definitely one of those kinds of players.
Yeah, well said. And I like a lot that he brings. And I'm certainly not slating the kid. I'm just questioning why he doesn't shoot because it annoys the hell out of me.
Listen, Dan, he's absolutely got to improve in that area. And I think Mikel should be talking to him about that. Like, he should be in his ear about that.
Do you know what was why he didn't shoot? He had two good opportunities to shoot
There's that too.
on his right foot. One he tried to get onto his left. So for me, get there, practice shooting on your left. But go through it and all that. Like, I think if that was on his left hand side, if that come to his left hand side, he'd have smashed it like he did in the game against Chelsea in the pre-season. Like on his left hand side, no fault about it. Does it? He's just got to work on his. I think at times he. And my big worry about Odegaard is that he's very, very all left-footed. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when you're in those little pockets and that, you can't afford to be. You have to have that little. You have to be confident on your right hand side. And I think that he's going to have to work on that. Do you know what? 23 years of age, I think he will work on it. I think that that will come. For him to go on to the next to get to that next level, he's going to have to push to do that. I looked at it yesterday when I was watching it. He should have just shot with his right foot. If it went over the bar, who cares, But unfortunately, he tried to. I tell you what, and if the flick comes off, Martinelli has an open goal, but it don't. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is, Dan's right, and everybody's right in the chat. Should just smash it. We was all saying it at the time and everything like that. Now, people are turning around and saying, "Oh, he goes missing like Ozil." He doesn't go missing like Ozil. He doesn't go missing because I can tell you that now. He was getting back, getting in position, chasing players down. I don't see him putting in a tackle, which he knows he's not going to get, right? So he's on the floor. But it looks good. Oh, look, he did try and make that challenge. No, he'd rather do the dirty work and run back 30 yards with the player to try and make him make a mistake. I like that attitude. Look, I've seen that so many time with players that there's a 30-yard run on it. Oh, I'd slide in for a tackle here, make me look good, but I ain't got to run that 30 yards. He doesn't do that. He chases back, chases, hurries and all that. So when people say he goes missing, I'm not having that. He doesn't go missing. And unfortunately, a lot of time when you see it on telly, you don't see that work rate. Because you're following the ball and everything like that. But if you're at the games, you do appreciate the work rate he goes through. So listen, you don't get given the captaincy at Arsenal just because you're no good or whatever, or you're a joker or your friends and whatever. There's a reason why he's got it, and I think that it will come out. But he didn't have a great game on Friday night. But he won't be the only one. Did De Bruyne have a great game for Man City today? Not really, but he did bring the pass up that mattered for the goal. So there are fine lines between having a good game and a bad game as well. If Martin Odegaard would have took that goal, I think people would be going, "Oh, what a great game he had! Look at the work rate." Blah 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 blah. Give the kid a break. He's 23 years of age. I like him in midfield, and I think that he'll do okay.
Also, Lee and Dan, we've seen Arteta can be ruthless. If he doesn't play well, he won't, captain or no captain, he won't pick him.
He'll be out. Yeah.
And once Fabio Vieira is fit, he can come on, like with 20, 25 minutes to go. He won't have any fear of subbing Odegaard for him either, Dan.
Oh,
yeah, 100%. He needs to play. He needs to be, in my opinion, he needs to be more clinical in front of goal. Yeah. Great footballer. Love technically how good he is. Definitely not a Mesut Ozil because his mentality is nothing like Mesut Ozil. So for me, I think he's a great footballer, but he does need to improve that goal and assist ratio, and he ain't going to do it if he ain't going to be shooting. So he needs to start shooting those positions. If that's Smith Rowe, it's a goal. It's a goal. It's his right foot, goal. He shoots. He's not going to try and cut it in. He's going to hit it. So he needs to concentrate on shooting on his right foot, or just have a bang, because it is getting frustrating. He's not the first time this has happened, is it?
No, and he needs to, exactly. You know what I mean? He's got to start doing that. I think work harder in training, just work on it. The other thing is going on about this Vieira. It'd be interesting to actually know where he actually is going to play, whether he's going to come off the flank or he's going to play in that Odegaard role.
I think he'll be in the Odegaard position.
He'll be in the Odegaard position.
So it'd be interesting.
I don't know if you guys have seen him. I don't know if you guys have seen him play. He's the captain of the under-23 Portuguese team. I don't know if you saw the interview with Emil Smith Rowe when he talked about playing against him. And this is a player. You don't pay 35 million for trash. There's a big reason why. Obviously, we've invested that kind of money. And again, every transfer is a risk. It's like playing the stocks. whether he works out or not, but he is going to be a valuable asset to this team.
Yeah.
And again, when we were talking earlier in the show, if Odegaard's not playing well or one of those flank players aren't, when you do have a Smith Rowe, so we talk about depth, right? Well, if Vieira can come on and have an impact, if Emil Smith Rowe can come on and have an impact, here we go again. So you've got that Tomiyasu, Ben White situation. You've got Zinchenko and Tierney. You've got Odegaard, Vieira, Emil Smith Rowe. Again, you get that in 2 or 3 more positions, guys. Now
Yeah.
this team is forming.
Yeah.
We need that bit badly, and we'll come on to that towards the end because we definitely do need some more of that. Lee, I mean, I have to say, in terms of the all-round performance, really impressed. Really, really impressed. Yeah, it went off a bit and had a few chances. Ramsdale made a few saves, but I was really impressed overall with the stature of our team, the way that we went up against it. I thought Thomas Partey in the first half was breathtaking with some of his play. I thought the tenacity of Martinelli was great. Saka likewise. Should have scored. Another one should have scored. Martinelli, but dragged it wide. Jesus. And then I think Patrick Vieira changed his tactics and we found it a little bit more difficult. But for me, when you look at the overall performance and the result of that and some of the positives certainly outweigh the negatives. And this looks like a little bit, it looked like a different Arsenal side to me than the one that we saw last season against Palace. But of course, against Palace last year, it was a different side because we had a lot of our plan B options. Still got Tomiyasu to come back. Still got Tierney who got some minutes. Still got Fabio Vieira. Still got Emil Smith Rowe. So that bench is going to look a hell of a lot stronger than it did on Friday night, which is a good thing. For me, it's still a couple short, in my opinion, and I think that we will address that. I believe Arteta at the end said we're trying to do another couple of bits of business. So that sounds positive to me. But I'm looking at this side now, Lee, and I'm starting to say it's strong. And I really believe it belongs in the Champions League this year. So I want to get your thoughts on how things have changed or if anything's changed for you now that you've seen the start of this season. Because for me, this team, I think, is strong enough.
Yeah, well, what's happened is there's 2 signings plus a lone one that's come back, and they've all improved the squad and improved the team. Jesus has made us a game-changing team. Look what he done to that central defender for that Odegaard shot. He chased him down, made him make a mistake, put it on a plate for Odegaard, really, and it didn't happen. When have you seen that from a forward? When have you seen someone do that? Like, you know what I mean? The ball goes over the top, scared, absolutely scared. You know what I mean? Of the pace of him. Some of the turns that he done, he comes short. He brings players into play, and then he's in the box and all that. Like, he is a game changing player. I'll tell you that now. Like, you know, and makes us more. I've seen this in games when we've been toothless, and teams will think, yeah, he can have the ball here, do what you want to do. At the end of the day, we know you're not going to score and all that. All of a sudden, he puts fear into defenders making last-ditch challenges on him and everything like that. Look at this one we went through, and you know, it just didn't break to him. But you know, Martinelli should have scored. They're things that we haven't had in the past. So he's going to do really, really well for us. Like, you know, Zinchenko, like, you know, not just the song was great, his performance was really, when we got the ball, we played really, really well. Didn't defend, you know, tough defend. But I'll tell you what, that whatever his name, Awara, he was a decent player for them. Like, you know, I've got to say that people are disrespecting, going, oh, he had a good game, you know. He was more lively than Zaha, by the way, you know. So I don't think that I think that we've improved the squad really, really well with those 3 signs. Now, listen, when you look at it, you know, everybody's saying that, you know, Man City have lost a few players, but they're still strong and all that. Arsenal have done the same. Arsenal in this transfer window have made the team stronger. They've made it stronger, like, you know. Awa, what is his name? What is it?
Are you talking about Jordan? Are you?
Are you? That's it, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
It's another Lee classic. We got to make a T-shirt.
I love it.
Yeah.
Are
you? He's got a brother as well, like, you know. I don't want to get them mixed up, like, you know what I mean? He's got a brother called Uar, like, you know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, we've strengthened the squad significantly with those players there, because I think that, but the one area that I am concerned about is the midfield too, because I honestly thought they were superb in that beginning of that game. I thought they were brilliant. Partey and Xhaka dominated that midfield. They dominated the midfield against Seville. They dominated the midfield against Chelsea. And everybody's going, oh, yeah, it's pre-season. But they dominated that against a very, very physical side. Now, when you look at Patrick Vieira, if he's going to know what his midfield players are and what they're going to do and coach them, they're going to be pretty good, aren't they? Like, because he was a master at it. But we dominated in there. Like, I thought Partey, by the way, was fantastic until he tired. But we haven't got nothing to replace. The drop off in that area is significant. It really is. You know what I mean? You look at, you say, right, Jesus, Eddie, there's a little bit of a drop, but you can get away with it as we've turned around and said, like, But if I was Ben White or even Saliba saying myself, I've got him competing with me, and then in the mid two midfield players, they can have a poor game, do what they like. There's no one really challenging them, and I think for the team morale and for the team to keep up levels, if you've got someone else alongside there, if you don't play well, you're going to be out. We just talked about Odegaard and Vieira, like that's good competition. We need that with another midfield player. Arsenal, I know we're saying about a forward and all that. Arsenal, I think, if they sign another top-class midfield player, we are in for a really, really good season. If we don't, and one of them two gets injured, it'd be like, oh, if only we'd have got a midfield player, we would have got here. No, I think if we get a top-class midfield player and a wide player, I think that we can challenge for third, try and challenge and get into the top four. I think we guarantees virtually us getting into the top four. If we don't get that, we're playing Russian roulette like we did last season. I'm telling you, we played Russian roulette with the forwards.
Can I ask you guys real quick though? Let's just say we don't, and Tierney's fit. Can Zinchenko fill a void if one of those two are in?
Yeah, I think Zinchenko could play in the middle there, but
I feel right, Dan.
Yeah, he's done that for Ukraine, and we're believing that.
Yeah, and he's played well there.
He's played well there. I do feel that I'm with Lee here. I do feel that we need two midfield players and a forward for me. I still feel that. I really do.
But like a forward that can give us a plan B, like
a little bit of an aerial threat, a little bit of a target man.
Giroud,
yeah, Olivier Giroud. I said that actually, and someone said, "Oh, you all hated Giroud." No, I didn't. I thought he was one of the most underrated Arsenal players we have ever had.
Yeah.
But that's my kind of thing. Don't know who's out there. Don't know who that man is going to be. But I still feel that there's the need for that aerial threat.
Is it Diaby or something? Is we're trying to bring back the old crew?
Diaby's a winger we're trying to get, a right winger.
Diaby, Vieira, we're bringing back the old guys.
I know, we're bringing back all the old players, aren't we here? But yeah, in midfield, I still feel that a Tielemans would be a good one. And I still feel we need a holding midfielder because I think we lack a destroyer in there if Partey's out. Don't think Xhaka can do it. El Neni and Lokonga do a job for a couple of games, but if we're talking a long injury, I think we'd have some problems there. So I think we really do need to look at last season and think, why did we feel short? Well, our fullbacks weren't good enough. And we'd had no midfield in there that could replace Thomas Partey. And if we get to a stage where Tomiyasu and Partey get injured long term again, and we're bringing in Ben White or Cedric, and obviously what's his name in the middle, Lokonga or El Neni, and we're losing games, we're going to be all frustrated again, saying, well, this is the same as last season. Why have we not bought anybody? That's my biggest worry. That is my biggest concern. So I think it needs to be addressed. And there's still time. We've got 2 or 3 weeks left, haven't we, still? So let's hope that we can try and get that addressed. I want to bring the last few super chats in before we do a wrap up. Sophie, I'll put this one to you. This is from Tristan, who says, do you guys think that we can challenge for the title? I think we can, personally. We should be aiming higher and not just top 4. Well, Tristan, I believe we should be aiming higher 100%, but we need to be realistic. Manchester City and Liverpool look too good for me. Sophie, what are your thoughts?
I would love to say yes and have one of those seasons where last season most Arsenal fans didn't think we'd be challenging for the Champions League. And this season to crank it up a notch, wouldn't it be great? Will we find ourselves in an improbable situation to be challenging for the title? I don't think anyone's gonna. I picked Liverpool to win the title, but City look like I don't know. They look amazing. So I think maybe it's a season too soon, but will we get there eventually? Yes.
Fair enough. I picked Liverpool last season, and Man City proved me wrong. I ain't not putting them this season because they've got Haaland, and my God, he looks a monster. So I think they're
Yeah,
going
and
to walk it.
shoot for the moon, land on the stars. That would be
That's the one. That's the one, man. That's the one. 100%. Lee, what's your thoughts? Are you similar to Sophie there?
Yeah, it's very sure. Like, I'd love to say that we could. I think we're challenged. I think we'll be up there for a little while. Like, we're up there now, but I think we'll be up there after 20 games. If we are up there after 20 games, that means you're on for a chance of top 4, and that's what our aim is this season. Listen, I watched Manchester City today. Like, that's the dream in it, to get as good as them. Like, let's be honest. They've got it in all areas. Rodri in midfield today, like Rolls Royce, and they've got Phillips on the bench. You know what I mean? So come on, so I don't see it. I don't see it. Skeggy, Skeggy and Dave has put money on Arsenal winning the league. Let's be honest. He's put money on it, if Arsenal do win the league, let's face it, we'll be having a nice little drink on him. I'll tell you, because it's a few bob. But I don't see.
He needs to stay away. Needs to stay away from Skegness. He's getting too much sun.
Yeah. So I think he's obviously drunk that night, like on the old cocktails. Does a lot of cocktails, as old Skeggy. So So listen, I'm with you. Like, let's aim for as high as we can and see where it takes us. I think that even though I wasn't impressed with Liverpool the other day, that they're going to get better. And do you know what? Even though they didn't play well, Liverpool, I watched that game. I never thought they was going to lose it. Even at 2, when it went 2-1, if that was Arsenal, we'd say, oh, that's it, we've lost this game and all that. I still was convinced that they was going to win that game. When it went 2-2, I thought, oh, here it comes. So when we get into that mode where I look at it and don't think we're going to lose games, then we'll see. But at this moment in time, no, we're not there. We need a couple more positions. I think we need upgrades in a couple of positions, and if we were to get those upgrades, then who knows?
What a finish, 100% agree from Nunes. What a finish!
I haven't seen.
He tried it once and it failed, and he tried it again and he buried it. Wow.
I agree. I like this guy as the striker I wanted at Arsenal, isn't it? Everyone's as soon as he wasn't going to get into the Champions League, I was like, not going to get him now. And he went to Liverpool. Some people feel he's going to be a flop. I don't think he will be. I think he'll score goals. Same as Haaland. Oh, he won't cut it in the Premier League. Wow. I don't think either of them are going to be flops, put it that way. So that'll be interesting. I must admit, I do think we need to keep our feet on the ground a little bit with this title talk. We've had one game, 2-0. It's been very nice, but there was still parts of it that I was a little bit worried with. And also, there's a subs bench there that looks very, very weak. And you need a squad to win the league. So I don't think we could be looking at that personally. But listen, I think realistically, we should be aiming for the best of the rest, which I think is 3rd place, Champions League spot. And we need to go and win that Europa League, guys. We really do. So let's hope we get a couple more additions in and we can try to do that. Last couple of chats for the night. First of all, Big Energy says that he feels that Gabriel's flaws are evident now next to Saliba. I think that's a little bit harsh, if I'm honest.
Harsh.
I think they've been. He's been really good for most of.
I like Gabriel.
Yeah,
I love our fans. Too. Last year, it
unbelievable,
was
isn't it?
Ben White's flaws that were evident next to Gabriel.
This
season, it's
amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And the last comment of the night, which I think we do need to mention. Well done, Balogun, for scoring on your debut tonight, and well done, Tavares, for scoring on your debut tonight.
Brilliant. That's what we like to see. That's what we want to see. Good loans.
And that, Lee, has topped off a very good weekend.
I just want to say one thing though, like one last thing, right? We went out on Friday because Dan, unfortunately got caught in traffic, so it was like 4 hours. So we was put back to go late. Ended up going McDonald's.
Oh, lovely.
Is it right? Yeah, this is what I'm going to say. Like, is it right or is it wrong to have a fillet of fish?
You know what? It's the right amount of wrong. It is.
See, I've never gone to McDonald's and ordered a fillet of fish, and I won't name and shame him, but someone we were with did, and I just couldn't believe it. Well, Lee probably will name and shame him, but I was shocked. I was shocked.
Yeah, if you want to go and get a fish, it's like I'm going to say this now. If you go for people who order a chicken burger at McDonald's, and well, go KFC. McDonald's is for the burglars. You know what I mean?
What time of day was it?
6. 6 o'clock, Dan?
6 in the
At 6?
evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that.
That might be unforgivable. Just saying.
There's a mix though. There's a mix in the chat.
It's
People
do
saying
you
it's
know
fine.
what?
It's a
There's a
mix.
lot of people saying it that they go. I'm.
Listen, some of the traditional McDonald's, like people poo-poo the McChicken sandwich. They bought 2 new ones out, one spicy or whatever, but the original McChicken sandwich delivers. If you need
Yeah,
that kind
I
of
like it. I like it. I mean, I
brine,
prefer the. I like everything at McDonald's, but I've never had fillet of fish because it's just something I wouldn't bother getting.
No,
But some
it's
people
just
say it's lovely.
I can see the chicken. I can see the chicken nuggets, and sometimes I have the wraps and all that. But the fella that we was with when he did say I've got a cheeky cheeseburger with it as well. You know what I mean? So, but I just
Well,
for
on
me,
the show we were discussing it, and Red Ken and Oggy, they said, "Yeah, I like it," and I thought,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it's just
Ken,
me and you,
Red Ken, he wasn't Red Ken. He said if I go in there, I'll have 2. And I mean, and I just thought, well, that's even worse. But there you go. I'm a burger. If you go in there and have a burger, you know what I mean. Do you know, if you go to
Big Mac, Big Mac and
go
fries,
to a fish restaurant and get like ribs.
Yeah, it's like I went to Italian last night and was at an Italian night. Someone said, "Well, why don't you have steak?" I said, "If I want steak, I'll go to a Miller and Carter or something like you know what I mean." When I go to Italian, I've got to have a bit of pasta. If I go to, it's like going to a KFC and having a burger. Yeah, you know what I mean. But if I'm going to have fish and chips, I'm going to the fish and chip shop, not McDonald's.
If it was like midnight, I would say cut him some slack. But at 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm saying that's a bit dodgy.
Yeah,
Tell you what we'll do,
Judge, that's a good
tell
thing.
Tell you what we'll do, judges. We'll both order one and we'll both eat it on here, and we can do a preview of it, can't we? Do you know what I mean? Would we order one again?
Like that, you know what I mean?
What's your go-to order at McDonald's? What is your go-to?
We've got every time Big Mac.
Dan?
Big Mac, large fries.
Big Mac, or I'm with Lee, or sometimes I'm like with you. So if I get him a chicken sandwich because I like them, but if I don't fancy a burger, but most of the time I'll go Big Mac. Yeah.
If I'm
if
I really want to be dirty, I'm going to have a cheeseburger, 6 nuggets, and fries.
See that is great. That is great.
Yeah, I like a cheeky. I always have a Big Mac and a cheeky cheeseburger on the side.
Yeah, I normally do. I normally don't fill you up, does it? Nuggets, I'm a fan of. I normally do get a side of nuggets as well. So, Big Tasty. Apparently, Skegness Dave likes Big Tasty.
Typical him, like
Do you
and
guys
he does
go
like
in on the
sushi.
McRib?
He likes sushi. He likes sushi, Dave. Apparently.
yeah, he likes sushi.
Do you guys get the McRib when it comes out?
No,
I've not had one of them. Are they good? Are they?
They good?
They're nice, so bad, it's good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
one of those.
Just once. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah. But you got to have it.
I've never
when
really.
It comes out next. You guys should do a review for the show.
We'll do a review on that. I'm never one for the old quarter pounder with cheese and all like it. On a big, is that? I'm just sorry, double quarter pounder. I'm just a Big Mac guy. And when they do that, the Big Mac, you know what I mean? They do it every now and then.
Big Mac.
Oh, bring on the grand.
Danny has his burgers like he has his pints. Right?
Or the opposite. The opposite to have his pints.
Maybe.
He has half pints, now he has double burgers.
One thing we noticed, and we both said this, didn't we? You go to McDonald's now, and half of them never have the milkshakes no more, do they?
Oh, no, that's the most disappointing thing, isn't it? The ice cream machine isn't working. No milkshakes or ice creams. You don't get that anywhere else. You never get in KFC or any of those, do you? It's always in McDonald's. It's crazy, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, it weren't working again, was it? Weren't working again.
I don't know if they do that deliberately or something. Just turn it off to wind us up then. I don't know why they do it.
It's that Judges and Potsy are coming along.
We're doing that machine up like they're Arsenal fans. They're probably Spurs fans on the bloody counter, aren't they? Like they're doing it like that.
Look, they used to put that dodgy stuff in it, didn't they? That they'd put in rugs and carpets, to thicken it and stuff like that.
Oh God, you don't want to know, do you? You don't want to know.
Nah, you don't.
I tell you, you really don't want to know what you're eating.
I won't have one again now. Like, you know what I mean?
You should do a burger. You should do a burger comparison. I saw someone in chat, I think Gamer, saying the Whopper is greater than the Big Mac. The Big Mac has diminished a little over the years.
Oh, we do that. When we go, we're doing it with the studio. We're popping a couple of. We do a review. We do a review on it.
That sounds good. That does sound good. Well, that was a nice little way to end the stream, really. Talk about food. Beautiful.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, all of us are hungry now, so cheers for that.
Sorry about
Listen, over 1,000 of you watching live, and still roughly about that. Smash the like button for us, subscribe to the channel, and if you can do exactly the same thing over at both the Highbury Squad and my new channel on Football's 12th Man podcast, all three of us would be really, really happy. Listen, guys, it's been a pleasure. This has been superb. Lee, thank you. Sophie, thank you even more. And thank you to everyone else in the chat for interaction. And we will see you next time. And hopefully we can have another 3 points at Leicester. Take care, guys. Up the Arsenal. See you soon.